Welcome to the Connect Secure Administration and Maintenance e-learning video. In this session, we will review complex resource policies. We will first take a look at detailed rules. Detailed rules are exactly that, detailed. Whereas a basic rule simply permits or denies access to a resource based on role information, a detailed rule includes additional specific conditions that must be met before the rule action is applied. Detailed rules include the following elements. One rule is action. The action is specific to the type of policy, be it web, file, and so forth. Another detailed rule element is resources. In a detailed rule, the resources are specific paths and subsets of resources defined at the policy element level. Another detailed rule element is condition. Conditions are granular Boolean expressions based on session variables and user variables, using a generic rule-based language for writing conditions. Pulse Connect Secure provides a comprehensive list of variables that you can include in your condition statements. Next, we will take a look at creating a condition statement. A condition statement is a Boolean expression that ultimately returns either a true or false value. In our example, we want Pulse Connect Secure to deny access to the intranet website if any of the following conditions is met. One condition is if the source IP is within the subnet of 10.1.75.0/24. Another condition is if the client is accessing the system on a weekend. And the final condition is if the user session has been assigned to the user's role. We will now take a look on how to construct this condition statement. For our example, we will now examine the first variable, source IP address. Users should not be allowed to connect if they are coming from the internal intranet. To add this variable and operator to the conditions window, highlight the desired variable, select the operator and value you wish to use, which in this case is the source IP. Then click Insert Expression. Then enter the desired value in the condition window. Referencing the image, the first condition is now visible in the conditions window. Next, you will add the linking operator. You can choose an operator from the Conditions Dictionary menu or type in the word. Next, repeat the same basic process for the day of the week. But in this case, the value is a range, Saturday through Sunday. In this image, the days of the week are now shown as specified as a range. You can use ranges or sequences of numbers. They must be enclosed in parentheses. The next condition relates to the assigned role. In this case, you have a second drop-down menu that displays all the available roles. Referencing the image, the final condition statement is shown. Note that all the graphic navigation is designed to make writing condition statements easier. If you know the variables and values you want to include, you can type out the entire statement in the conditions window without using the drop-down menu. Now we will look at a more complex example. The example on the image illustrates several principles in which you can use parentheses to create nested conditions. In this case, the user could either be Joe or an employee at or above level 65. If either of these conditions were met, the result of that part of the overall condition would be true. Note that in this example, we are using a lightweight directory access protocol, or LDAP user attribute, named employee level. You must specify the attribute exactly as it is defined in the LDAP. If you are using Active Directory, this attribute might be the same thing. For example, the Office attribute as defined in Active Directory becomes userattree.physicalDeliveryOfficeName. Text strings are encapsulated by quotes, whereas real values are expressed without quotes. Pulse Connect Secure supports a quoting syntax for custom expression variables that allow you to use any character except the period in a user attribute name. To use escape characters in an attribute name, quote some or all of the variable names using curly brackets. Some examples are shown on the screen. We also have some examples of escape characters that are supported within quotes. Now we will briefly review detailed rule processing. You can define multiple detailed rules as part of a single resource policy. These rules are processed in a top-down fashion. The first rule that matches the user session will be applied. If no rules match, the user is denied access to the resource. This concludes this Connect Secure Administration and Maintenance e-learning video. Please proceed to the next video in this series. For any questions, contact education@pulsesecure.net.